Yo, welcome to Beyond the Tape, a podcast that focuses on Australian mountain bike, people doing rad things in the mountain bike industry, whether that's media, mechanics, event organisers, or athletes, or just people just doing rad things. Event organisers is someone I haven't had on. So if there's any event organisers out there that want to have a chat, talk about what it takes to organise an event and get the marketing and do everything themselves, hit me up because I'm keen as. Let's talk about some sponsors before I move on. Today, we are introducing a new sponsor to the podcast, Trek Bicycles. They've been making bikes since 1976, so quite a long time. They've been pushing the boundaries of what can be done with a bike and the technology involved, whether that's road, gravel, mountain bike. They basically cater for everyone. Man, some of the e-bikes look sick as well. There's a reason that some of the best in the world, like Brandon Semenuk, Reece Wilson, Valli Hoel, Harriet Burbridge, Mike Ross, and Buchanan ride them. They bloody rip, and to have that many riders on board means they're onto a good thing. That guy, what's his name? Cade Edwards, he does a couple of tricks on them every now and then as well. I'm stoked to have him on board this year as we kind of expand the platform and what we're doing. There's going to be some cool projects happening, and they wouldn't happen without the support of these guys. One of those projects might include the next sponsor, Tailored Trails. They're Tassie specialists for statewide transfers, private group shuttles, and all-inclusive packages. So if you and a bunch of mates want to head down to Tasmania, enjoy the places like Derby, Maydena, St. Helens, and anything on the west coast, these guys offer dedicated private group shuttles so that you can take all the hassle out of it, of the logistics, travel, and everything like that, and you just ride, drink beers, and have a great time. What's wrong with that? If you need to take some tools down with you and want to keep your toolbox looking pristine, the best that Toolbox Wars has ever seen, hit up Lead Out Sports for some Abbey or Pedro's tools. The Abbey's tools are manufactured to the highest quality and look damn sexy. Pedro's is a little bit more wallet friendly, but damn, the quality control those guys have is next level. The tolerances are some of the best I've ever worked with. FE Sports are among industry experts for product imports, distribution, wholesale, and customer service. I don't think I'll ever say that sentence 100% right. They are official distributors for brands such as 100%, Pirelli, Wahoo, Shocks, Theragun, and a bunch more. The 100% Surpass pads were my pads of choice when it came to nationals and riding my bike of late. They're so damn comfortable, I forgot to take them off and was wearing them while I was shooting photos. They're that comfy. To keep my bike running smooth and tracking the ground well is NS Dynamics. They're Australia's premier suspension service centre. The guys have been doing this for over 20 years and goddamn, they can make your suspension work well. The Hyper Performance Tune, which includes premium oils, nitrogen charged damper, ultra slick seals, that it just makes your bike track the ground. Franked Apparel is Australia's #1 mountain bike apparel brand, hands down. Their technology they're using in their pants and their jerseys is some of the most comfortable I've ever worn. They breathe well and they just hold up to any abuse. So I've been absolutely loving them. Crush Oz has been keeping my bike clean. Their whole selection of stuff is just enough to keep your bike spotless. Head out and get one of their deluxe bike buckets so you can just get everything at once. Makes life easy. Fist gloves, again, don't have to say much about these guys. Super comfortable, grip the bars, do the job, tough as 8 nails. Easy. Head over to any of their websites or online stores, use Beyond the Tape or Beyond the Tape 10, I think. It's Lucky Dip, and get 10 to 15% off at any of those guys. Don't forget, if you support the supporters, they're going to support us more. So support the people that support us and show your support. I don't know, support. Anyway, on to the guest. We've got Jackson Frew. We have a bit of a chat about his campaign at Cannonball. We talk about nationals. We talk about his bike. We talk about Oz cycling in a positive light. And we do a bunch of other random tangents and everything. It's about an hour and a half of good content. So you might want to grab a couple of beers, a big glass of wine, some water, or whatever makes you happy, and enjoy the podcast.
What's going on?
Yeah.
But shout out to Troy. Hope you're healing well, by the way.
Yes. That's a good spot to start it. Let's start it.
Yeah.
And
We should shout that out.
Yeah, we'll cut out all the rumors we just talked about. So yeah, shout
You
out
should just
to
put
Troy.
like little drops of those things just on Instagram. Just like little like 5-second clips of like, I don't know how people didn't see that. And like, it's going to be sick. Just all this stuff, and then let people run with it.
Just random shit.
You always hear those little stories from people here and there of like, yeah, like we can't, especially in the pits at World Cups, it's like the stuff we are on, we can't win races on, but we can't get a new contract with better stuff if we don't win races. So we've got this like awkward, it's like this like 50-50 of like, well, we take the risk of annoying the person who is paying us money, or we take that risk and then hope that someone else will pay us even less money, but for better things.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, I don't know if do you listen to the Pink Bike podcast at all?
From time to time, not religiously.
There was one with like Henry Quinney, who was the mechanic for the Hannahs and stuff. And he was saying how there was people that would run another brand's damper in their forks, in like their sponsor forks, and then they'd just glue the adjustment dials on the top. So they'd get all the settings dialed, take all the adjustment dials off, and then glue their manufacturer ones on the top. So everything looked normal, but inside was a competitor's damper.
Yeah, right. Well, it's super common with tires.
Tires number one,
like
for
that
sure.
One's super common. But, yeah, right. I didn't hear the damper one. That's different.
I mean, I doubt there's many people that do it, but it's definitely going to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Who are your sponsors for this year? Is it just We Are One at the moment and Darko?
TBC.
I was hoping you'd have them ready by now.
So did I. I don't know when I'll have an announcement, but we'll have contracts signed, finalized, done deals by Monday.
I'll see.
Yeah. So hopefully by like Mansfield, the last Vic round, which is the week after after Oceanas, should be all good and sorted.
Yeah, sick. Yeah.
And then hopefully I'll G up Stags and we'll do something cool.
That'd be cool.
Actually, Kai and I are planning something pretty sick with Stags at the moment. We're trying to work out locations at the moment to do something pretty sick.
Yeah, cool.
Before Kai has to go back to Fort William and before I disappear as well.
Yeah, Stags, he's killing it at the moment. He's got so many projects on the go.
Well, he's just the stuff he was doing in Threadboat was sick.
Yeah. I don't know how he turns it around in that time. Like, I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, he must not sleep at all.
Well, that reel that I posted was like a minute video. Kai had one as well, and we shot that. We would have finished probably last year-ish on Thursday of Cannonball, I want to say.
Yeah.
And I had that in my inbox by like 10 o'clock that night.
That's insane.
Yeah. And like I posted the next morning and so did Kai. And then there was like all the Darko stuff and all these contracts and stuff as well.
That's insane. That's sick.
Yeah. But that was a fun video too.
It was good. Everything came out well. He did really well at that. Devo, you couldn't get to Maydena. It's a bit disappointing, but that's all good.
Yeah.
He always shoots well there. Speaking of, I'm not going to go down any of that route, but I'm just Devo, he wasn't there.
I know. I was just thinking of how few photos I got from Maydena this year and last year as well. Even when he was there, it was just because last year I was so written off. But anyway, go on with what you're saying.
It's pretty hard to take photos in the hospital.
Yeah, spent more time on the ground than on riding a bike.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's like every day you had a new injury, right? Like every day you had something.
Every day I reset the biggest crash of my life.
You had the wrong goal in mind. Hey, you're just like, I'm gonna axe myself so hard.
To be fair, the first one wasn't that big of a crash, but just the consequences really, really hurt in a really bad spot. And then the next day was probably the biggest crash I've ever had.
Disgusting. That video and that road gap claimed another person this year. It was just a random freak accident. It just must be something there. Yeah. One person every year.
Have you seen the video of my crash from there?
Yep.
Yeah. Actually, you were there, weren't you?
No, I wasn't there, unfortunately.
You were just above it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came down the hill and everyone's like, "Did you see Jackson crash?" I'm like, "Nah." They showed me the video. I'm like, "That is so bad." Like, he's dead.
I just remember walking back into the pits, and like Alex had met me and like taken the bike because we kind of needed to keep that quiet for very good reason. If you know, you know. And then I was walking into the pits and I was just so off it. Like I was just like, I am booking a flight out and going home. Someone else can drive my car home. I don't give a shit. I'm going home. And I walked through the pits and like Kai could see that I was just covered head to toe in dust. My goggles had like 5 mil of dust in the bottom. And Kai walks out of the pit to like see if I was all right. And I was like, just don't talk to me, please. just don't, not right now. And then Ronan does the same thing. And like Ronan being the smart ass that he is, I was like, I looked at him, I was like, just don't say anything. Please just don't. Like, don't talk to me right now. I just kept walking. Just like, I can't talk to people right now.
He would have said something so inappropriate or so out there, like, and it would have just set you off.
Yeah. I ended up sending him a message that night. I was like, I'm really sorry. I was probably a bit of a dick to you, but I just couldn't deal with it. Yeah. I was so broken that night. We're sitting after dinner. We sat down. I could hardly like lift my fork because my shoulders were so sore from landing so hard on my back. God. And I'm sitting there, and Dad just goes, "Do you want a beer?" I was like, "I think I do." I literally just sat on the floor for like an hour, and Alex is just sitting there, and like Pear's trying to rub my shoulders so that I can move my arms again. And like Mum's in my ear, like, "Oh, you really shouldn't ride, you know." And I was like, "Yeah, I really know I shouldn't, but if I stop now, I'm never going to get back up." The worst bit about all of it is I couldn't post anything.
No.
So like I get sixth, and I was like, I mean, it sucks. I got sixth. I got smoked, but I mean, to be alive. Like, yes. I just couldn't tell anybody the story.
The ride after that week was like, just to get on your bike was a momentous occasion, right? Like,
well, it was like, yeah, it got to past the point of like being tough or whatever, being smart, or like, you know, being tough and getting up. It's like, I have to, like, something is trying to kill me. Like, I am not, like, if I don't get up now, like, I will never get up from a crash ever.
Troy just saw how fast you were riding for the week, and he's just slowly like cutting your parts, just cutting them off just to get you out of competition.
God, yeah. Well, yeah, and then we could talk about Bright the year before as well, shooting myself in the foot with that one. I've not had a good run with national champs.
You had a good run this year?
Oh, yeah. Have you seen the splits?
I haven't looked deeply into them, no.
I was like super close to Connor. Like I think he was just in front of me, or we were like really close. And that like really thick dust, like left-hand turn onto the last fire road, I messed that up, and he put like 4 seconds into me in the last 40 seconds of track.
That's huge.
Yeah. Or like 3.5 or something like that. Because I like came onto the road really slow and then hit the step up, and cased the step up. I was going so slow.
Yeah, okay.
And so then the whole next bit was really slow. And so I just lost so much time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny how vital that beach section was to everyone. Like, it was probably the most vital section on that whole track, I reckon, in my eyes anyway.
I got it so good in my last practice run too. And Alex and I were like, the night before, we were like, all right, this is world champs, because that's a whole nother story. this is like our world champs for the year. So it's like the bearings in my hubs only had some like ceramic chain lube in them and had no grease in them whatsoever. Yeah. And so like my last practice run, I got that turned good, rolled out onto the road, small tuck, no pedals, and went to flat off the step up.
Oh, shit.
That was ridiculous. Alex had my bike so freaking dialed that week. It was just so good.
It was like the biggest contrast to the year before. Like it was, yeah. And everyone's like, he's on it. It was talking in the pits. Everyone's like, oh, Jackson might actually have it this year. It was a good race. It was a really good weekend for racing.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about thread.
Should we start with Cannonball? Start with that before we get too deep in the rest.
As an athlete, like for media and for me and for a lot of brands, it's like the Super Bowl for Australia Australian mountain bike industry, because it's everyone involved. Like it's general punters, and it's not many times you get to see old mate Bob from down at the pub jumping on the same chair as Connor Fearon and stuff at the same event, racing the same track. But what's it like for you as like an athlete? Like why does it attract all the big names?
Well, I mean, the obvious one is good prize money, really. I think with it being a good track, and you can kind of count on like me, Connor, Baxter didn't come this year, but like Dean being there, the Maya Smiths being there, like you can kind of count on it being a pretty good race of like, all right, I've got a month left or 6 weeks to the first World Cup, especially this year. It's like, all right, let's see where I'm at, see what's going on. And I think for the most part, everyone knows the track pretty well. And so everyone can kind of turn up and just start going fast, and you can test really well there. Like there's a lot going on. So I think that's one thing. And then I think for me, it's just good racing. And I love that place. It doesn't love me a lot, but
I watched heaps of YouTube and watched everyone's like practice runs and everyone's from the week before and stuff. And I was like, oh, this track looks fun and fast, semi-flowy, even though it's rocky. And then I realized you have to go like Mark 1, like warp speed down there to make it flow like that.
Yeah.
Is that good practice for you guys, like that go overseas? Because I can't think of too many tracks like that.
Yes, I struggle though. So especially when we just ride up there for fun, because like it's probably my closest downhill track really. Like we've got stuff at home, but it's easy for me to come down here, and so I do ride there a bit. I didn't very much into Cannonball, but I would usually, like now I'll do a fair bit there. But it's kind of hard because you kind of have to bring your it's like 97% of my race runs pace to make that track work.
Yeah.
At the way that I want it to. So it's like, it's pretty hectic. Pretty hectic. There's no, and when it goes wrong big. You don't have small crashes there. Like there's no such thing.
It's just like if you come off, you're in rocks or you're hitting a tree, or you're doing 50k an hour into an open field on your back. Like there was nowhere there that you're just like, I'm going to chill because it's pretty relaxed through here.
Yeah, pretty much. And even when you're trying to, like, it's like it's super hard to race though, because the first, like Cannonball, for example, the first 20 seconds or so is the fire road. True. So really, you don't win that unless you lose it there. And then the next bit, it's like that flowy kind of start, and there's really nothing to win there either. Like you can lose it, but there's nothing to win. Right. Then there's snakes and ladders, which in my opinion is where the race is won or lost.
Yeah.
And then you kind of have a fast bit, and then there's bunny walk, which again, you're probably not going to win in there, but you could definitely lose it. Yeah. Or if it's close, you might be able to win it there. And then down the bottom, there's just a lot of turns and carrying speed that, again, you can lose it, but you can't really win it.
Mm.
There's like so much pressure on the details on that track.
And it's long too. Like it's a really long track. So you got to focus for a long time down there.
What was race time? Like a 5:15, I think.
Yeah.
It's
Something crazy.
hectic.
Which is, it's an enduro stage on a downhill bike. Like it's next level.
Yeah, an enduro stage on a downhill bike at World Cup pace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being chased by Connor.
Oh, he did it on an enduro bike. We won't count that.
Yeah, that one was hectic. Yeah, I had so much fun there. That week was just so good. I came into it and like I had Alex there, and Alex just got my bike that little bit better. We did a little bit of testing, and I had Kai to ride with.
Mm.
And just like first day of practice, it was like, all right, this is good. Second day of practice, did like 3 runs. I was like, all right. I think I did the 3rd run. I said, Alex, I was like, I'm going to win this weekend.
That's sick.
And he's just like, yeah, sick. And I was like, no, I'm going to win. It's like, just like, I don't get that feeling very often.
Yeah.
And I usually don't say it very much, but it's like when it's Alex there, I know it's all good to just be like, I can speak my mind. I was like, I did a run and I hit snakes and ladders, like just, I got to the bottom and had to stop and just be like, oh shit. Okay. I think I saw you on that run. And
yeah,
I was
maybe.
like, oh, that was hectic. I think when we stopped at the bridge and I saw you and I was like, that was ridiculous.
Yeah. Yep. I remember that because it was you and all the, you and all the camera crew.
Like, yeah. And I was like, I got to the bottom and I was like, yeah, we're on. This is going to be good.
Do you have that feeling much? Like I feel like you wouldn't have that feeling very often.
No, I don't get it very often because I'm not like, I've only ever had it probably once. And generally it's because I'm not in the position to win. Usually, usually at national champs, I'll be feeling really good and I'll be like, I'm on for a podium, or whatever. Because I know Troy's there and Connor's there and Dean's there and everything like that. It's like, I could get one of them. I don't want to take 2, but I reckon I could get 1. So maybe I'll get 3rd.
Yeah.
Or I'll be like, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good, but everyone else is feeling better. Like there's no way I'm feeling this good. And I'll surprise myself and be like, right, national champs, where I was like, all right, in seating, I better do a good run, and got to the bottom and I was like, oh, I'll put 8 seconds into everybody. Interesting. Didn't need to do that today.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because you seem like you're on it the whole weekend, and the fact that you don't think that you got to win. I mean, Troy is Troy. He's consistent, and he's won a couple of races in his time, I guess. But like you could see what happened at nationals. He has those days where it just doesn't happen. Like it's racing.
Yeah,
there's always that chance.
I think going back to Cannonball, it was like I wasn't sure where Connor was going to be at. He was the one I was like, all right, if someone is going to beat me, it is going to be him. And Dean as well. And Luke Meyer-Smith is always a dark horse too.
Always.
He's always there or thereabouts. He seems like the type in where he'll win. Like he'll be right there or he'll be just behind that bubble, 4th or something like that, but like 2/10 off. And that's where I've been a lot.
And they're kind of odd in their own way. Like the best people, don't get me wrong, but like they're kind of, you never see them. They're like the ninjas of.
I kind of like that though. I like trying to do that.
Yeah. Like
especially Cannonball, you just like sneak out the back. Like we had a little pit out the back. It was like me, Mars, Kai, like Dritzo was there, and Alex, and we just do our own thing, sit at the back. I didn't want to be involved in all the like crap up the top or anything like that. Just do our thing. Try and find some stupid gap to hit and just be there.
Yeah. Did you find anything silly at Cannonball?
Not really. Just kind of
everything seemed like it's been done.
Things up. Yeah. There was one really small one that I was just doing more as a like forcing myself to commit into that shoot. You came out of the switchback along the bridge, kinked left, and you like looked up and got set, and you kind of came off a bridge, it dropped right, and then you jumped into the grass, and that was kind of down that chute.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And I knew if I came off the bridge, I'd kind of set up, you kind of get the bike set, and I always kind of little just like dab to get the bike to like settle into the travel. It's kind of a bad habit from riding bikes in the past that weren't that good, and you kind of had to settle them.
Yep.
And so I was like, well, if I jump off the bridge and land right before where I need to jump into the chute, then I can't brake. So I was jumping off, jumping in, and then by Sunday, I was like, well, I know as soon as I land, I have to brake because you have to. So if I just jump further in, as far in as I can, then I won't brake as much.
Yeah.
So I just jumped further.
Again, that's just that controlled chaos I was talking about at Nationals when I saw you. It's just like you're controlling how much you can control, and it's somehow it's almost chaotic, but you know what you're doing, and you're forcing yourself to be like, just the way you think about riding is so different. Yeah, but it doesn't always look it.
Someone said that to me. Someone said this to me at Ball. Someone came up to me after like my last practice run on Saturday and was like, "You nearly died into that." And I was like, "No, yeah, it was all good. Like, it was fine. Could probably do it again." Like,
you can have that. What was did you only race downhill at Cannonball? I can't remember. You didn't do like the flow cup or anything like that. Yeah.
No. I haven't had very much time on my trail bike, and my trail bike's quite clapped.
Okay.
And with a big couple of weeks coming in anyway, I was like, let's just limit how cooked I'm going to be heading into champs by just doing downhill, and then just like cruise through that and then hit champs.
I think that was everyone's decision because it was a big couple of weeks.
Massive, especially because I went and did Ball as well. So I got off the boat in Tassie and then back onto the mainland and went straight to Ball.
That's insane. I don't know how you guys did that. Like, I was cooked by the end of it. I was done. What was your prep like coming into Cannonball and Nationals? Were you feeling fast? Were you feeling good on the bike?
I felt really, really good on my downhill bike.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd done virtually no training. I haven't been. I've just been busy with like, I got home from overseas quite late. So my like off season was kind of late. And then just with life stuff and just all the shit going on to be me was just hectic. And so I just hadn't like nailed down my plan and what I was doing and all that sort of stuff. So I got on the bike and I was just like, I'm just going to ride the bike as much as I can and just get really bike fit, be really good on the bike and go with that. If nothing else, I'll be super confident and that might make up for it.
Well, it clearly did. Like, it's like when I think it was Bubba Stewart back in the day swapped trainers and ended up like he did heaps of time off the bike, like heaps of gym, heaps of cycling, heaps of random stuff off the moto, and went shit. Like, it was his worst year ever. And then as soon as he swapped to going back on the bike and just riding and doing heaps of that, he went back to being good again.
Yeah. There's something you just can't really beat bike time. Like, and talking to Baxter as well, it's like he'd been doing a fair bit more training, I think, from what he said, but he'd also just spent bulk time just riding downhill.
And
I hadn't really spent too much time testing either. Just kind of got really used to riding my bike, how it was, and it turned out it was all right.
Well, I wonder about that. Like, I was getting to a point with my bike, like I was just trying to get it to work and it wasn't working. Like, I could not get it to work and it was making my riding worse. And you get to the point where you just ride around it, right? Like there's no point testing and changing stuff if it's not going to do anything. You just ride around it and learn how to ride.
To a point, yeah. I'm quite good at that. I'm quite good at riding around issues. Like, as long as my touch points are good, like my bar height's good, my bar width is good, my feet are in the right, like proportionately in the right spot, and I'm kind of comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Like my touch points are good. I can ride around a lot. I mean, there's obviously once you get to a certain point, you just run out of being able to ride around stuff, and you need a bike that works. But to a degree, like not too bad. But I think, it was a discussion we're having Nige too down in Maydena. It's like how well you can ride a stock bike, and you don't need all the fancy, like, all the stuff. Obviously, when Nige tickles it, but but for the most part, to get started, you don't need any of that. You just need to ride, and then once you've ridden a bike enough, then you know what it needs.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing is you start chasing your own tail, and you don't know what you actually want to get out of the bike if you haven't ridden it in its most base form. And if you keep dancing around things.
For me? Can you clip that for me? I need to send that to someone. This argument with someone.
It doesn't well, like you listened to it on Gypsy Tales, and I think it was actually Mike Sleater from Intense Cycles, but he used to ride for Yamaha, and he said it. He's like, they're so used to factory setups, and they end up chasing their time around factory setups, but they never actually ride the base. So you're only ever chasing what's wrong with a custom setup, which is harder than starting with like the base setup and building on it. So you're trying to remove building blocks. If you know what I mean? Like it's like Jenga. Like you're trying to play Jenga instead of just building the
really
tower
good
from
analogy,
the bottom. Yeah. So
that's a really good analogy. Yeah, I was having this argument with someone who I probably won't name, but it's like you get on a new bike. It wasn't Troy. We'll leave that out. It's like if you get on a bike and you instantly start trying to make it feel like what your old bike felt like, you'll always hate it and it'll never be right because it's a different bike. But if you ride your new bike for your new bike and get used to what it is, and then you learn its issues, or not its issues, but what you need to get out of it or what you're looking out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, you can't let the chicken like lead the egg or the egg follow the chicken. You know what I mean? You've got to like start with it, one thing, and then go from there.
Exactly. Were you on a completely different setup to last year? I can't remember because you were
not really.
No.
Basically just a frame.
Yeah.
But that'll change again.
Of course,
to a degree.
It's team rumors.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see you on the Huffy. They got to sign someone, man. Everyone, like, they missed out on Kai. They missed out on Sean. But Huffy's got to get someone.
We could get you a Huffy.
I just signed with Trek. So
did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'd ride a Trek. They're nice bikes.
Yeah, okay. It's a little hint.
Well, there's a lot of bikes I'd ride, actually. There's a lot of bikes I'd really like to try, but we should probably get back to talking about racing.
Yeah.
Before we fall down this whole other rabbit hole.
I love a rabbit hole, man.
There's a 4-hour podcast and all this.
So all your prep and stuff for nationals for Fredbo was good. Like there was nothing I could think of that like really had any setbacks, right? Like it was all pretty.
No, we were breaking things.
Okay.
A lot of things. Yeah.
Everyone was breaking things.
I think it to me it said a lot because I'd been riding there a bit. Like I'd done maybe 3 days. Probably 3 days. And hadn't broken anything. Like been really comfortable, smooth, consistent. And that's part of how I knew I was going faster and that I was going to be hard to beat is because I started breaking things. And to me, that's like the next level. You know what I mean? You get your bike sorted and reliable at one level, and then you go faster, and all of a sudden the forces are higher and everything's higher and all that sort of stuff. You start breaking shit again.
It's another rabbit hole, but man, like some of the shit you guys break is stuff that normal people don't break. And the amount of shit you break is just ridiculous. Like, I overheard some conversations and saw some parts coming out of the pits from that. And I was just like, how? Like,
what was the weirdest one you've seen?
I still reckon old mate carrying a few shocks in his hand was the worst, like one.
Oh, that's not super uncommon though.
Okay.
Like, like anyone could blow a shock up.
True. Or like bent handlebars, like that doesn't, without crashing.
I can one up that.
We know. Remember that road gap?
Well, I did 5 chain rings at Maydena.
What?
Yeah.
Where? Like
here, there, and actually, I did one on Money, the Buddha.
Yeah.
Well, we nicknamed that Gap Money.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I did one on that, which is another rabbit hole. I hit one in a rut. I just dug into this rut harder than I had before, and there was a big rock there. That one was like 90 degrees. Like it was bad.
Ridiculous, man.
Yeah. And then just random ones here and there.
5 is huge. Like 5 is next level.
Yeah. Might have been, maybe it was, I'll have to check with Alex. We think it was the 5th chain ring that was on the bike, maybe. Maybe we broke 4 and we put the 5th one on.
Yeah.
It might have been that. Definitely 4 broken chain rings.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. What was it? What did it feel like once you got to the top step at Thredbo after everything?
Relief.
Yeah.
Well, as I was saying, we were breaking things. We were like, I was on my last wheel in my race run.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, got through the top really good, got to snakes and ladders, and I was like, all right, if I'm going to win this race, this is all of it in this bit, everything I had. And I got out of the chute, came into that next turn, got under the lift, and I was like, all right, let's go. Like, I'm alive. I'm 100%. There's no way I'm not in front at this point. Like, I am, this is it.
Yeah.
And so I did bunny walk, got like 3/4 of the way through bunny walk, and there's this stupid little gap over this rock.
Yeah.
Came up like an inch too short, like legitimately not even that, like 20 mil or less. That's an inch, 20, less than that on this rock, and snapped a spoke.
Shit.
And I was like, I heard it going, and then I hit the next turn, and the tire rolled a bit more than I expected. Yeah. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
And so I was like rolling into turns so wide and like trying to carry pace, but trying not to roll this tire off the rim, like trying not to just burp it, trying not to break more spokes, like just doing like, and that's why I was slower than my quali run, because I was so cautious at the bottom. And then came out and I was like, came off the wall ride, hit the left, and I was like, all right, it's like 3 more turns, like just make sure you win. Like, you got to win this. Like, come on. And cross the line and heard a 15. And I was like, I don't care. I went slower. Did I win? And Connor's like, oh, you got me. And I was like, oh, thank God. And Alex comes over and I was like, thank God. And he's like, it was a good run. And I was like, look at my back wheel. And he just went, yeah, that back wheel was smoked before you went up. I just didn't want to tell you.
Stick.
So, I was like, thank you for not telling me, but please don't do that again. It's just like one of those moments you just like, it's all good.
I can't believe you did that. Well, I can believe you did that. But it's funny, like, he has that trust to know that it's going to get you down the hill, almost the way down the hill.
No, he didn't. We were talking about it. We
Okay.
were talking about it after presentation. I was like, how bad was it? And he's like, it was 50-50, maybe 60-40.
That's ridiculous. You just gotta run it, eh? You just gotta run it and gun it and see what happens.
We didn't have anything else.
Yeah.
We were out. That was it. So that was that.
Well,
It
I heard he was building up other people's wheels for him as well. Like there was just so many.
I think he did 6 wheel builds in like 2 days or something.
That's phenomenal. That is
maybe 3 days. He did a lot of wheel building.
That's fucked. So was that the only thing that kind of went semi haywire at Threadbow, or was it all pretty smooth other than that?
Pretty much. It was pretty smooth other than that. And by design, like I was not doing a lot of practice, just trying to like get through, save myself, not have it was pretty fast, like not have a hugie before game time. My seating run was funny. I didn't think that was going to be fast. I got halfway down and I was like, all right, if this gets me 4th or 5th, I should be in with a shot. Like this just doesn't feel very good. Didn't feel very fast.
Yeah.
Got to the bottom and they're like, yeah, you're like 5.9 up. So,
okay.
That was a bit more of a statement than it needed to be. Okay.
Again, we just like, damn it, it's bright all over again.
Yeah, I was so nervous for my race run. Like, so nervous. Until I got on the lift, then I was like, all right, there's no point being nervous now. I've just got to do this.
Funny how the lift changes, yeah. Like you get on that lift or on the shuttle bus and it all goes away. Like there's something weird about it.
I think for me, it's something, it goes back to something Rando told me years ago. It's like, because I was struggling with just getting race runs done, like just silly mistakes, things like that, pushing too hard. And I remember talking to Rando about it, and he's like, you're overthinking it because you're in the gate for a race run because you've done all the practice, you've done all the setup, you've done everything, you've ticked all the boxes. That's why you're there and you're still alive.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is execute that run that you know you can. And it's like, so I don't get very nervous once I'm in the process, in my process.
Yeah.
Because I know all I have to do is execute it. And I've already done it. I can do it in my head. I could just got to execute, put it on the track.
Do it again. Do what you've been doing.
Yeah.
So you went straight to Maydena from there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got the day ferry.
Yeah, that sucked. Don't get a day ferry, anyone who's going there. Night ferries are way better.
I legitimately just used my last $200 to get the night ferry on the way back because I was just like, I can't do it. Like, I can't do a day ferry.
Yeah.
It's going to kill me.
Yeah. Yeah, got in there. Did track walk. Walked it with Kai. We've been riding together a lot again, which is cool. And for those who don't know, I'm going to keep referring to money. And money is the big... How would you describe it, Darren?
Is that the section you're talking about where...
That's the big gap.
And it kind of...
The gap is money.
Yeah, it's hard to describe. I need to find a GoPro video and point it out and like cut it out.
It won't look gnarly in a GoPro.
No.
Not at all. But anyway, so I'll refer to the gap that I'm talking about. We nicknamed it money. And it's after the lily pad. And for anyone who's ridden the track, I know where it is. You kind of do the tight left, drop down, you turn right onto the lily pad, jump off, you kind of rise up over the roots.
Mm-hmm.
There's a split in the track where there's a tree in the middle. I was going low, jumping down over the first like little natural roller. Then there's roller, and then there was a rut down low to the left that kind of turns you right along the track. So we're walking along, we come off lily pad, and Kai's like, oh, we'll go high. And I was like, oh, I reckon if we go low and then we can like jump into that, get a bit of pump and like that. I'm standing there looking at it, and I was like, oh, I don't know, probably go low again. That looks really solid. It opened it out and everything after it. And I was like, that looks good. And he kind of walks back up, and looked at him and he's like kind of a bit unsure about saying too much out loud. And I was like, all right, I walked up next to him and kind of waited for a few people to walk away, and there wasn't many people. And he's like, you could gap that. Or I think you could gap that. And I looked at it and I just said, I'm going to gap that. It's like, and I just got a big smile on the face. I was like, yes, I am going to do this. This is going to be my thing.
I love how Kai handballed it to you. He's like, yeah, you could gap that.
Yeah. And it's like, well, it wasn't more like you could gap it. It was like, I reckon you could. Like, we could do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's possible. It was more like, I think it's possible.
Yeah.
Conversation. And I really struggle on a track that's like quite simple, for lack of a better word. Like, it's quite one line once you get up to speed. And I get really complacent with tracks like that.
Yeah.
So like Leger a couple of years ago, I just wasn't going fast enough because it was so one line that I didn't have anything to like push me. And I really struggled to push myself like that. So I always go looking for something stupid.
Which is funny because,
as
I said it to, I think Baxter, and I've said it before, but that track is multiple lines, but you find one line that suits you the best, and it ends up being the fastest line for you, and you just ride that line the whole weekend. Like, it doesn't change that much.
Yeah, but I knew that, and I knew that I would kind of struggle with that, because I would get up to speed on that line and then go, okay, what's next? Like, what's the next thing to do?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, if I know what the next thing is, like if I just go looking for something that's stupid, then I'll always be building to the point that I can do it.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I just find something that may not even be possible, but I kind of build to, then we'll be sweet. And I kind of looked at it with Kai and we're like, it might be possible to do. Like, you could definitely jump between those 2 points. Maybe. You might.
Possibly.
Maybe. And it's like, when you look at it from the lip, I'm getting excited thinking about it. It was good fun. The landing pad was probably, the landing pad between the two stumps, one of which you couldn't see. It was on the backside. You could just see one stump. And the gap between them that you had to land in looked on the lip like it was about 400 mil. Maybe a bit more. And you landed and you had probably 10 mil on your shoes.
Yep. Sick.
Yeah, it was just one of those. And we didn't do it the first day. Kind of undenied about it. And I knew I could tell Baxter. And so I said to Baxter, I was like, have you done it? Like, is it possible? And he said, well, I don't know. Maybe. But there's no way in hell I'm doing it. And I was like, all right. Yeah. Okay. And he's just like, but, whatever. You can do it if you want. But no way in hell. Yep. I was like, all right, whatever. And so we just kind of went about it, and I kind of quietly stopped and had a look at a bit and let Kai go, and just wanted like a second to just like look at it myself on the track and just like decide how I was going to do it. Rolled into it once and said to the guy filming there and some other kid in the bushes, I was like, you're going to want to watch this. Because I want to see the crash if it goes wrong or not. And hit it. And that was the first chainring, because the stump on the right was of decent size.
Yeah.
And I put my chainring on the side of it. Like, I took 5 mil of bark off the outside of it.
You're just widening it up to make the landing pad. That's what you were doing.
I was like, I stopped and I looked at it and worked out what I needed to do. And I was like, all right, next run is going to be butter. It's going to be perfect. So next run, I went a little bit too far left and nearly hit the other stump. And then the third time I hit it was perfect, and I did it every run after that.
Yeah, right. It's funny because like it was Fletcher Media, one of the SA crew. who was filming you. He was the filmer there, and he was all prepared to like get it and stuff. And you hit it, and he's like, "That's not where anyone else. That's like not what I wanted. Like, I wasn't ready for that."
Well, I think you told me. I think you told me it was him, and I found him on Instagram, and I hit him up, and I was like, "Hey, man, like, I don't know if you've got a video, but can I have it if you do? And if you do, please don't share it."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, I don't have it, but I wouldn't share it anyway, but I don't have it." And I was like, "All right." So no one else knows.
Yeah.
And then Baxter asked me about it, and I was like, "I hit it."
Yeah.
And just left it at that. And once I did that, like Saturday before quali, I had the same feeling I did at Cannonball. I was like, I didn't tell anyone because I wasn't quite sure how it was going to go. But I did in the last practice run and looked at Alex, and I was like, I'm on for something. Don't know what, but something.
We can always go either way. Like, you're going to win or you're going to make the news. Like, it's...
Yeah. Well, yeah, pretty much.
But that's kind of cool. Like, it's that win or die, or like you just... It kind of goes back to what you were saying before. You feel like you're in control. Whereas from the outside, it's just like this...
I'm never not in control.
Yeah.
Like, as much as it looks ridiculous on the outside, I'm never like if you watch my heart rate trace, there would be no spikes. I'm never not in control unless I'm on the ground.
Fair enough.
If I'm on the ground, that was the only time I was out of control.
Yeah. Yeah, that's insane. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
it's quite funny because like everyone tells me I look out of control. But anyway.
Yeah. But going back to riding with Kai, like I did notice that like you and Kai were riding heaps together. It seemed like it was a bit of a different crew around this year, like with you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've been helping Kai with his new bike a little bit and helping him set up, and we've just been riding a lot together.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just kind of kept like you kind of don't mess with the thing that's not broken.
Yeah.
And we get on really, really good. He's one of my best mates. And so just kind of, if he's doing something stupid or if he's riding really shit, I can pull him aside and be like, "You're riding shit."
Yeah.
And if I'm looking at something or if I'm doing something that I shouldn't be, or if I'm chasing my tail with something, he can pull me aside and be like, "That's a stupid idea." Like we can kind of, and we can 1-2 things. Like we're pretty similar speed. We can kind of, we've got very different styles. So like if we 1-2 something and I'm like, "I don't think that was very good for me because of this, this and this, but I think you might do it well."
Yeah.
And he can ride that bit. Like we can bounce ideas off each other pretty well.
He was the other one. I was like, he might actually, I don't think a win, but I was thinking second or third for him. Like this year. I was honestly thinking like you and then Kai were like my podium.
I really wasn't sure what he was going to do because I knew how I felt and I couldn't shake him.
Yeah.
And I was like, is he going to be the one that I'm racing? Like, what's it going to, like, how much do I have in a race run? And then, and he was sizing up doing money as well. And I think he kind of rode into it once or twice and then decided it probably wasn't for him. Like it was just a bit too, like he's a fair bit more controlled. And I was like, all right, if he hits that, then I probably need to stop riding with him because he's going to be like, I'm going to be giving him a win.
Yeah.
And realistically, I would, but it was just a funny thing. It's like if he goes much faster, I'm going to be in trouble here.
Well, it's all competition at the end of the day. I think that's kind of an interesting part of our sport is like we're racing the clock and it's all like you're all mates and everything, but you still want to win. And then it gets to Monday and it's all back to normal. Like once that race one is done, that's it. Like you're all mates again. And,
Well, I have I have a thing in my head when I put my goggles on, I'm racing someone, and when I take them off, I'm not.
Yeah, okay.
But only for a race run. Like I could, like, we can be all good all through practice, and it's fine. And like, if he follows me all of practice and he beats me, like, sure, I'll be a little bit annoyed because, like, he followed me the whole way. But I'd be really pumped for my best mate who won whatever race we're at.
Yeah.
It was like the same as like Beauty. Like he came with me, like we were traveling together. And I crashed and I was annoyed, but he got second. And I was like, well, that's sick. Like,
yeah,
you buy second race, like you got second. Like, that's sick. Like, you were close to Dean. Like, that's really, really cool.
Knew everything, not just a new bike. It's like knew everything. Like,
yeah, head to toe.
That's insane. What else? Was there any other big things that you did on that track, or was that it? Like the rest of it was pretty.
Not really. Yeah, not really. That was kind of the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't too much else.
Yeah.
There was a couple of other things we were kind of half looking at that just kind of didn't really make sense once you rode the track.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really. It really wasn't that much. Like the track's really sick and there's a lot of line, but once you get going to that like 99% speed and above, there's one line that only really works.
Go at the fastest.
Yeah. And then
you weren't in the hot seat for long. It was only a couple of riders, but then
no one.
Well, true. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
But then like you saw Connor come down, and that run was just silly. Like he was pretty damn fast for that year.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Baxter said it well. I think on the one that you guys did a couple weeks ago. It's like there was so many people that day that if I didn't win, I was pumped for them. And I think Connor was probably probably second only to Kai or Baxter of people that I really wanted to see win. If anything, like I was just stoked for him to win one. It's like obviously annoyed and more annoyed once I saw the times, but like just pumped for him.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Especially and I think I said this in Baxter's as well, but like after watching him wrench on his own bike and do his own thing and run his own program and then take the win.
That's Connor though to a T.
Yeah. It's just like people, he is like, and then chills with the Maxi on the couch watching Supercross to celebrate. Like it's so chill.
I feel I'm obviously super stoked for him. At the same time, I'm a little disappointed for him because he didn't necessarily beat Troy straight up. Like I hope Troy's all good as well. We should just put that in there. Really, really hope he's okay and everything's all good. But as much as Connor was the fastest guy on the day, it's like there'll be so many people who will always tell him unfairly, I think, that Troy didn't get to the bottom and that's why.
Yeah.
Which is just wrong, I think. But
there's that classic saying, right? Like it's the most basic saying in the world, like to finish first, first you must finish. Like, you're not going very fast down a track if you're in a tree. Like you're not going to, you're not winning. Like
wrong.
I know it's bad. Like just like, dude, I helped Troy get off the track. Like we helped him out and I want him to do the best, but he crashed because he was pinned and he didn't manage to ride the track as fast as he possibly could for whatever reason. So therefore Connor won. Like,
in some ways, I think it's a big statement of where Connor is at and where the sport is in Australia, because we pushed Troy to the point where he had to bring everything he had, which, as much as it sucks that that's the way it ended, I think is a really cool thing for the state of the sport.
Well, I mean, like this is another thing I was and it's kind of skewed because it's got the Zwar brothers in it, but I did my fantasy downhill team the other day, and I can literally pick 5 Australian men that legitimately will be in the top 20 easily. And I'm leaving people out. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, we need Ben and Ollie to come back. If you listen to this, come back and race the national champs with us. We miss you.
Yeah, do it. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
I think they can. Yeah, they're dual citizenship, so that should be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. Surely they'd be able to, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they can, for sure. I'm pretty sure you can.
Although Ollie's Swedish, I think Ollie's Swedish national champion, so I don't know if he could win. I don't know how that works.
I don't think it's been done before for anyone to know.
Yeah, I feel like you couldn't have 2, maybe just do one a night, like each sleep.
Yeah,
it's sick, wouldn't it? Or two brothers. Ben wins one and Ollie wins the other. It's like 2 brothers who both have national sleeves for different countries.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think it'd be kind of cool.
It would be really cool, actually, just to work. I'd be curious. I might actually talk to one of my mates in Commissar and see how that would work. I wonder what the go with that is.
Because you have to be a citizen of the country.
Yeah,
because I can think of.
I got 5th or 4th or whatever it was at Canadian Nationals last year, and I could stand on the podium, but they couldn't give out the national jersey with me on the podium. Like, I had to step off. Then the 5th place Canadian stepped on, and then they did like the medals and gave Finn the jersey and stuff like that. It was like a photo op sort of thing.
Yeah,
because I wasn't a citizen.
Yeah,
and I don't think I collected points either. I don't think I got any UCI points.
I think you can get UCI points. That's why everyone's in Portugal over the weekend.
Yeah, but that wasn't national champs.
But they still have UCI races like Cat 2.
Yeah, but
stuff like that.
Yeah, but like specifically national champs, I don't think you can get points.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah. I'm gonna find that. I want to find that out. I know exactly the person to ask to.
Yeah. Pretty sure. I'm not sure. But yeah. And my quality run wasn't that good. And I was close. But everyone said, oh, yeah, it was super messy. Track was pretty cooked. And I was like, I guess it's all on.
That track.
And the white kit came out.
You know it's on when the white Power Ranger's out.
I bought it once, and that was my Cannonball race run, and I won. So I was like, well, I've got to do it again.
And they just got to wear it at every race. Like, it's just.
I think it's just it's a race run kit now.
Yeah,
it's just going to be my thing.
The track by a race time compared to track walk was like riding at a different venue to me. Like, it was so different. In some sections, it was just completely different.
Yeah. It changed less than I expected, but more than I expected at the same time.
It's
like some bits didn't change at all.
Like that off-camber section before the rock shoot. Like, I thought that you do that kind of left-hander into it, and there's that big route that crosses it, and then you're doing like all these off-camber switchbacky things into the steeper rock garden. I thought that would just be gone by the Sunday.
Yeah, but I think because they were cut in last year, they were quite solid.
Okay.
So once we got them back to the point where they were at last year, I think it was good.
Yeah. But then like that baby head rock section, which I think was just after money. And it
that bit was wild.
There was two lines in track walk, and by the time I got there on Sunday, there was like 8. And it was
I ended up on a completely different line to what I looked at. I thought it was going to develop completely different.
Yeah. I thought
we kind of like rode first 3 runs, and I was like, this just doesn't feel right. There's too many rocks. Like people are kicking them onto my line, not off it. And I like stopped and had a look, and I was like, oh yeah, that's because I'm in the complete wrong spot.
Did you do any of the track walks? Like, because they had a track walk every night, which I thought was pretty sick.
No, just one.
Just the one.
Just one. Yeah, because it was such a long walk in, it ended up being like quite a physical walk.
Mm.
Like it was quite long. So I was like, I'll just do one. And if I want to look at anything specific, I'll just look at it.
Yeah. True. Yeah, it was a long walk.
Yeah.
I remember a photographer wanted to do it. I'm like, just don't. Just walk up the track.
Mm.
You'll get more photos. It's better.
Mm. Yeah. You're not wrong there. But I don't know.
What happened? What do you think happened to Troy in his crash? Do you have any theories from what you've seen?
I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I think I have a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
You kind of, from what it looked like to me, and I haven't spoken to him and I don't know, so take this with a grain of salt. But
yeah, it's just
right
an opinion,
where he crashed,
not fact.
Yeah. Right where he crashed, there's like a low berm or a little high line you could sneak onto.
Mm-hmm.
And the high line was about a tire width wide.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're like a little bit off in the entry or a little bit off, like a little bit one way or a little bit the other way, and you missed it, it was like a bank. And so it would just like push the tire down the track and not kind of follow your body weight.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. And so it looked like that's what happened. The bike just went down. He kind of kept going straight and like put his foot down. But I don't know. That's just what it looked like. It was super easy to miss it. I nearly missed. I nearly did the same thing once or twice.
And you're pinned through there. Do you know how fast you guys are going, like after that section where he crashed? Because I was standing there and it's fucking scary.
It's brakeless. I know that.
Yeah, for you.
You cross that road.
For me.
You cross that road.
Yeah.
You like come out of the really tight right, cross the road, really rough sweep left, and then it kind of like kinks right hard, and then it drops down that face.
Yeah.
And then it's brakeless all the way till you cross the next road.
Yeah. And that's a long section of track to be brakeless, and it's so flowy and pinned.
I wouldn't call it flowy. I would call it like Megadeth compression to bounce into the next one to the next one, little left-hand turn, and then just scrub off that fadeaway wall.
Yeah.
I hope it comes round. Yeah, I spent a fair bit of time practicing that, like looking at that, because if you went low, there was a slight break, and then you come up, and there was a slight break, and there was a slight break, and slight break. But if you went inside, you could just make it so that when you G'd out, it would bounce you to where you needed to be on the next bit.
Yeah.
So you could do the whole straight brakeless, but you had to commit so hard from the top.
Yeah. And by that time,
you know what I mean?
Pretty far down the track. Like you're pretty tired by that time.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I'm good at, and Kai always tells me this too, is being committed. I'll go down with a sinking ship if I have to. I think that might be why my style looks so wild.
Yeah. Because you're trying to sink your ship the whole way down. just throwing the anchor out the back and just going, fuck it, let's see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I brake. I just drop my heels in and let them clip the ground, and that's kind of how I stop.
You don't go through many brake pads.
No, I go through shoes.
So what are your plans for the rest of the year now? Because you've had like a 6 season overseas last year. Like you did really well at Crankworks. You've come back. Now you've won and come second at 2 of the biggest races in the country. Is that how you planned your year to go? Like,
no. my plan coming into the year was to do full Crankworks season and like keep building on that, and then do a couple World Cups and kind of work out, because it's been two years since I've done a World Cup. My last World Cup was Snowshoe in 2019.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
So
was that when you were with
plan was
Kona?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I finished that, and I think it was 23rd or 25th. I was like right around 25th, somewhere give or take. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
And so my plan was to do like a couple World Cups and kind of work out where the pace was and like what I needed to do, and then do a full season next year, assuming it all goes to plan. But now it's like, well, the pace is a lot higher than I expected.
Yep.
So maybe I'll try and do a few more, but I don't know just yet.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely doing 3 World Cups and all the crank works.
So did you do, wasn't Crankworks in Rotorua, like the start of the year? Did you go to that? Or am I on?
No, that was last year.
Yeah, okay.
December, there was one.
Yeah, sorry.
Which I was last minute invited to, but the quarantine spots were all taken and I'd kind of already booked a flight home.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And like couldn't get into the quarantine. Didn't work.
Yeah, it's weird. So what's the first one then? Is it Innisbrook?
Yes, so I'll do Leogang the week before Innsbruck.
Yeah.
Do Innisbrook. The 2, so Snowshoe and St. Anne, the 2 North American World Cups.
Sick. Yeah.
Then do Whistler. And then, don't know how I should put that.
Yeah.
And then, working out. Ideally, I really want to do Andorra just because I love that track. And apparently,
that track looks sick. Yeah, that place looks so fun. Scary, but fun.
Favorite track ever.
Yeah.
And apparently, they got a new one this year. So, but we're just working that out right now.
Did you see for Lords, they've got like a whoop section? Like midway down?
Yeah, I did. I think that's right near the bottom, actually.
Okay.
If my memory serves me correct, that looks like it's right at the bottom.
Yeah, okay. It looks like death to me.
Probably.
Yep.
Yeah, probably. the rock there is like limestone.
Yeah, sick. Yeah.
You get tiniest dribble. Like someone spills a water bottle on a rock and it's glass.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's
like legitimate unrideable glass.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty sick schedule for you though. Like to do all that.
Yeah.
It's pretty big.
And hopefully world champs. We're working on that right now.
Yeah. I'm not going to say anything about Oz cycling in this podcast, I don't think. But it does seem like there's some weird selection criteria for this year for world champs. It's better than last year, where there's like, no, too bad. But
no, I think it's a bit backwards the way I agree. I get what you mean. Last year it was good, but the COVID policy was messed up.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sorry. That's the best way to put it.
Now there's no COVID policy and the criteria is messed up, but we're working on that and there's people listening, which is really good. And there's conversations going on, which is really good. And so we're working on it. But if any juniors or elites are concerned about it, we're working on it.
Because at the moment, like national champs is considered, for those listening at home, national champs result it's not. I thought it was considered.
No. To be, as it's written as of right now, which is the 10th of March.
Yeah.
The Oceanias is the mandatory race to be looked at. So you have to do Oceanias or the first World Cup. And then the performance standard to be eligible for selection is a top 15 at a 2021 World Cup.
Yeah, okay. That makes no sense at all in some ways. But as you said, there are definitely people listening. Hence why I'm not saying much about cycling in this podcast, because there are people listening. And it's good because people's frustrations are being heard.
I think you can say what you want. I think the theory behind it and the people behind it have the best of intentions, but a lot of the people behind it have come from different backgrounds and are still learning what mountain bike needs. And they've steered it in the wrong way, or not steered it in the wrong way, that's the wrong way to put it, but they've gone down a path that doesn't necessarily suit mountain bike that well, which isn't good, but they've come to the table and there's discussions going on and there's meetings happening and people are listening and there's stuff happening, which is really, really good. Because, doing something wrong is one thing. Owning up to it and saying we will fix it, we will work out a fix is a lot better.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So I think the it is a good thing. Like Oz cycling is going to be really good once the kinks get worked out and everything like that, and the right pathways are put in place and all that sort of stuff. And Baxter and I have had a lot of conversations the last couple of weeks, and we're working really hard to make it really good for people this year and next year and so on and so forth.
While we're on the topic, this is a bit of so you're from Canberra, but you travel everywhere. So you're doing like Ball, you do a bunch of VDHS series, you do a bunch
Shout
of
out to the Vic series.
Sick racing.
They are killing it. Best races in Australia outside of probably Cannonball. If you want to do downhill in Australia from anywhere in Australia, come to a Vic series if you can get an entry because they sell out really quick, but they are the best races.
Yeah. Definitely. Like, I'm going to witness at Mansfield because that's that's Highline,
right? Yes.
The 24th? Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, sick.
I'm doing something with Mike Ross.
Sick.
But from what I've heard, like they just run a really cool event as a whole, which is
the crew behind it does a really cool job. Like at Buller, there was 300 riders, which sold out in like an hour, and 200 of them were under the age of 18.
That's ridiculous.
Or 186 or something like that. Like,
yeah.
As near as makes no difference, 200.
It's thriving at the moment, which brings me to the question, like, what are your thoughts on, like, do you wish there was a national series back so that you had more races that are locally to focus on, that are like Cannonball, that are like nationals, where there's a bit more of a serious thing to it? And do you think like having that is going to progress people's racing ability? It's not going to progress the sport because it's not going to expand the sport at all, but it's going to progress people's racing ability at a higher level.
I see what you're getting at, but to me, racing is what the racer makes of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I go to a Vic round to race.
Yeah.
You could go to a Vic round to have fun.
Yes.
You can go to Cannonball and you can have fun.
Yeah.
And I go there to race. You
know
what I mean? So I think the higher level and like more serious racing that you're talking about that you only get from a national round, I think you get everywhere if you want it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think what you're referring to is the like World Cup feel where everybody is there to race.
That's more.
Yeah, I think to me is what I see because I hang out with the kind of racers more so than like, I mean, there's people, there's heaps of people around who are just there to have fun, but for the most part, the people who I'm hanging around with and staying with and stuff like that are all there purely to race. So it's like, but I also think that we have so much racing at the moment, so much quality, so many cool races like Cannonball or the Vic series. Like Maydena was sick. and stuff like that I don't think were lacking for racing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're seeing that there's some pretty solid juniors coming through. Looks like there's a few under 15s and under 13s who are starting to come through.
They are ridiculous.
There's an under 11s kid in Canberra that I've got my eye on for like 10 years' time.
There's 13,
and
there's 12-year-olds.
He's got a race series. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He has a category at our local race series where he can go with his dad and he can race.
Yeah.
You know, there might be 20 people turn up or 25 people or something turn up, but there's another under 11s kid for him to race.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think mountain biking, but especially downhill, is in such a good place.
Mm. I agree with that for sure.
Mm.
Like, after a discussion I had with someone yesterday, yeah, it really pointed out how important like that local racing is to feed. But the thing that I'm worried about is that people go from that. We've got nationals and then you go to race overseas. Like there's nothing between.
We always had that.
Mm.
You know, like it was always like that. It was never like, you know, I started at like Cork rounds and then national series was at Stromo. So like my third race or second race or something like that would have been a national series. Or maybe actually it might have been national champs. I think it would have been national champs when they were at Stromo.
Yeah, right.
So it's like we all did it. And I know I don't know what I can say or anything like that, but I've been told of a couple more UCI races with points popping up next year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure where they'll be, or I'm not sure how much I can say, but I know that the people running it will kill it, and they'll be cool. And the short list for tracks should be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the signs are good. I think the health of the sport is really, really good. And I think, yeah, to me, everything's pointing good. I've never seen it in such a good spot.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
Mm.
I agree, 100%. I mean, like, yeah, we've got. I think when I started, I was organising gravity enduro events 2015, 16-ish. We had 3 women, and it was Shelley Flood, Jackie Chappelle, and Philippa Norton. And that was it, like 3 people. And then last year we were having 30 at every round.
Yeah.
And then 100
I remember when Caroline used to have to find people in the crowd to like make a category so she could have a national championship in four cross.
Yeah, right. That's insane.
Like, because, you know, you have to have a certain amount of people to have a category, and there wasn't enough women turning up. So she'd just find people in the crowd and be like, do you want to race? Like, if you win, fair play. But like, for her to be national champion, she had to have enough people.
Yeah.
And now I think there was like, I don't remember exactly what the number was, but there was like over 10 elite women. I think there was at national champs.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
I think.
Easily.
I could be wrong, but and then there was a full podium at least in juniors.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. He agrees. And then you got like the junior kids that are shredding, like all the under 13s and stuff. Like it's so sick at the moment. Like sport's healthy.
Yeah, they're killing it. Like, and I think it's only going to get better. We're only going to see more coming through. And like I was saying before, with 200 under 18s or whatever. What are they doing? With like so many under 18 riders turning up to Vic rounds and stuff like that. There's you're only going to get more, because their friends are going to want to come because they're doing all this cool stuff, and their brothers and sisters will come. Like it's only going to be better.
Yeah. Tell you what,
I've never seen that many people.
I can't wait to cover nationals in 5 years when all those under 13s are juniors.
Yeah,
like it's going to be stupid.
Yeah, it was like there was a while when I'd get all Vicar, and you kind of have a pretty decent idea. It's like that kid's going to win, that kid's going to get second, that kid's going to get third. And like I've been helping Mario out for a little while, and he's been doing really good. Like he's had a second and a crash and a win at a Vic round, and I didn't know anyone else on the podium. Like I'd never seen him before.
Yeah,
and I'm at every race. And they just like popped up. It's like, holy crap, that kid's going fast.
Yeah.
It's like that, like Kale from, I'm pretty sure it's Kale.
From
Adelaide.
Yeah.
Turned up at Buller, and I was like, who are you? Like, you just turned up out of nowhere. Like, I've never seen you before, and you were hooking. Like,
his dad won Masters national champs last year. And so he's been national champ to me every time I've seen him this year. At a race, it's just national champ every time I've seen him. So I'm a bit devo. He's going to be former national champ for the rest of the year. But Kale is, he's one of those kids that is pretty chill, like off the bike. He doesn't have much to say. It's pretty reserved. And then you give him two wheels and he's a whole different animal. Like he's so good.
When we were at national champs, it was like me, Kai, Mario, I think Kale, and then I think Sean or something. Like we had a pretty big train, and I pulled up, and then Kai pulls up, and then Mario pulls up, and then all of a sudden, like Kale's on his head, and I was just like, oh, "You good?" Like, quite funny. He was all good, but anyone wondering, but it was quite funny. It's like, there's just so many young kids that I've never seen before and even at the Vic round, like at Ball, I stopped and had a look at Jeep Track, the like one kind of pretty gnarly bit or pretty sketchy sort of fast bit. And there were so many people coming through, and I was like, wow, that kid's going fast. And, oh, wow, that kid's going fast, and he's going quick. And I didn't know who any of them were. Like, never seen any of them before in my life. I probably had, but didn't notice. But I was just like, wow, there is a lot of kids who are going fast and look good too. Like, have the right style, and technique looks pretty good. Yeah, there's a lot coming through.
That's one thing I've definitely noticed is like they're not just pinned and like cannonballing with no fear. There's a lot of good technique. Like, we've got a young kid here, another kid, Zach Murphy, who's 12 or 13. And the kid's on a 120 mil trail bike racing downhill because it's the only bike that fits him. And like, and he's just pinned, and he comes down and like he's going to blow out of that corner. Like, you got no trust, and he's just on the anchors. Like, he stops and just controlled his speed so well. Let's go, tips it in and rolls through. And I'm like, man, you just cornered better than 99% of the adult field here.
Yeah,
like that was just ridiculous.
Well, even talking to Cooper from Cooper Downey from Joyride, who runs coaching business in Melbourne, and even him saying like how many people he's just got looking for coaching, like who want to go out and want to be better, whether it's like safer or whatever, or just want to be better as a family rider or whatever. But like that many people who want to be better, like want to be a better bike rider. It's like, that is insane.
I think the industry as a whole is it's expanded. The last 2 years, like just seeing this huge expansion from coaching, bike parks, skills parks, like everything, pump tracks, just everything's just grown.
I've never seen anything like it.
It's going to be good. I'm keen. As I said, 5 years' time, national champs. I'll be there in a walking frame because I'm be too broken and covering it. And it's going to be sick.
I'm running out of opportunities to win that damn race before I'm in. needing a wheelchair.
It's all right. Next year. Baxter's going to get second next year because he won't win it till 2 years.
Well, I was 6th last year. I was 4th the year before that. The year before that, I was 2nd this year. I think the only thing in the top 6 I've got left is to win.
Got to fill that bingo card out.
Yeah. Well, I've never, ever won a national championship. Not under 15s, 17s, 19s, nothing. Never, ever won a national championship.
You're going to be like Petey. You're going to be like 35 and take out.
Well, because I was on the same age as Remy. So Remy would beat me every night. Like, I think he would have won a national championship probably every second year. Like, under 15s, Andrew and Joel and Max and everyone else would kind of move up. And then Remy would win a national championship and I get second. And the next year we'd go into under 17s and I'd get like 4th or 5th. And he'd get, a little bit better than me, like a 2nd or a 3rd or something like that. And then he'd win the next year and I'd get 2nd.
Oh, yeah.
Then we got into juniors and I think I got, I don't even know what happened that first year junior. I don't even know. I think, I don't know. And then 2nd year junior, no one else was there. I was on the factory team. I was like, this is my year. This is like going to be it.
Yeah.
And then Remy and I both had massive crashes just before qualifying on Saturday. It's actually kind of funny. And I was first out. He was second out in seating.
Yeah.
And both of us broke the gate and it took us like 20 minutes to get down. We were just stopping and talking on the side of the track because we just couldn't do a run. I think his foot or back or something like that. And my thumb was so fat that I had to change the angle of the levers so that I could get my fingers on the bar, because my thumb was so big I couldn't put my palm on the bar. And then it got to Sunday race day. I was out first, he was out second, and I got to the bottom and I beat him by like nothing, like a second, maybe 2 seconds. And I was like, oh, maybe I've done it. This might be the time. Like, I've done it. And we finished and we were sitting there talking for a little bit, waiting for like the rest of the riders to come down. And I think Josh Clark was the last rider down and he beat me by like half a second. And I was like, no. One time I beat Remy and you beat me. Damn it. Like, congratulations, but damn it.
Oh, that's so good. We might start roughing things up a bit here. What? Ask those 3 questions because people like them. What advice would you have for someone prepping for nationals if they wanted to race at any level?
Don't go in thinking it's nationals. Go in just thinking it's like another race. Turn up, ride with your mates, have some fun. Just do your thing. And you'll surprise yourself. If you go in thinking it's nationals, you push too hard or try and take it too seriously, then you won't ride like you because you're not acting like you.
Right.
Just act like yourself, be yourself, ride your race. You'd probably surprise yourself.
All right, that was good. I think that took me a couple of days to get this time. I was like, oh, fuck it. It's just riding. Like, just go and do it.
It's taken me like 10 years to work that out.
Is there anything you would have done differently for nationals this year? It seemed like it went pretty well. Other than four chain
messed up that one corner. Just to see exactly what would have happened.
That beach corner.
No, I don't think it would have. I think I wouldn't say it went perfect. It was obviously like talk about the changing start. There was definitely things that went wrong. But it was the first time I'd ever truly turned up to a race and not been like, yeah, I'm here to win like everybody is. It's like, I am here to fucking win this race. Like, I am here to win. Winning is the only option. And that was the more that I could have worth more to me than a sleeve.
Mm.
Just that change in headspace.
I know we're supposed to be wrapping up, but there was like an anecdotal story I heard of Connor. Like, even though he's the most chill dude, and as I said, like, he just doesn't seem to be. It's not that he's not motivated. He is. He's 100%, but he's like so to himself. Like, he doesn't look like he's there to win. He's just there to ride a bike and have fun. But I heard the anecdote of him saying to someone, giving him advice at the race, to be like, "This is fucking nationals. Like, you're not here to fuck spiders. You're here to win, and you can win. Like, if you're So
there's like two ways, two things to that though. There's you race because you want to win, like it's the like I'm pretty competitive, like, Joe Blow on the weekend is like, oh yeah, I want to win. I'll go to the race. It'll be fun. And then there's turning up with the sole intention of winning that race and nothing else being good enough.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm really competitive. I always turn up to races to win, but it's like, all right, I'm probably, at a World Cup, it's like, all right, a top 30 might be my win, or a top 20 might be my win because that represents a gain. And eventually I'll get to the point where I'm there to win. But that race, I didn't turn up for a podium. I didn't turn up for second. I didn't turn up for fifth. Didn't turn up for top 10. I turned up with the only thing on my mind to win. And like, that was a big thing for me.
Yeah, I rate that. That whole mindset can be a huge difference.
Yeah, and I think money was a perfect example of that. But
yeah. Well, no one's doing that for fun, clearly. I mean, you might. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No one normal is rocking up to do that for fun.
Yeah.
And have you been jamming out to any good tunes lately? What have you been listening to?
I'm pretty much into everything. Fair bit of country. Kai got me on the country kick, and so did my girlfriend. She's pretty into that as well. Actually been a little bit of punk rock of all things. Really random thing of I've stumbled on this mumble rapper dude who started releasing punk songs and then fell into the rabbit hole of listening to punk. I don't know, it's probably hardcore punk guys are probably thinking it's not, but to me it is. So I don't know, I kind of like it. Yeah. That's like, but I don't know. Yeah.
The punk rock crew.
My girlfriend sends me heaps of my girlfriend sends me heaps of like TikToks with random songs on it. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then I just like fall down the rabbit hole. Oh, that's pretty good. I just like start a radio on that one on Spotify.
Yeah.
Just like spend so much time in the car. I was like, oh, see where this rabbit hole takes me. It's like you end up like 10 radios down the line and you somehow end up back where you started.
Yeah. Like it takes about a month, but you end up back at the same spot. Yeah. Easy, man. Well, I better let you go. Thanks so much for coming on and having this chat.
All good. Thanks for the option.
Thanks for approaching me too. That was cool. So
I was keen to get some of those stories out.
I'll try and release it on the weekend, I reckon.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Sick, man. Well, thanks so much. And we'll talk soon.
Done deal. See you later.
Cheers, man. Bye. There we go. That was the latest episode with Jackson Frew. Hopefully you guys learned something. We had some pretty interesting chats in there about a few things, and I think there was some good advice and just a bunch of banter. Anyway, thanks again to all the supporters of this podcast. Trek Bikes, NS Dynamics, FE Sports, Tailored Trails, Lead Out Sports, Crush Oz, Fist and Franked. Without you guys, this podcast wouldn't go ahead, and we wouldn't be doing anything. If you want to support the podcast, support those guys. Share the podcast around with your mum, your nana, your cat, dog, lizard, rat, whatever else, wherever. Skywrite it if you can. Leave some reviews on whatever podcast app you're listening to, Spotify, whatever. And buy some merch if you can. Anyway, until next time, have fun.